Welcome to Keep It Pro Training Call. My name is Monique. I'm your host for today. This call is brought to you by Networking Wisdom. This call is every single Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Absolutely free. We're excited today to introduce to you the dynamic speaker, gentleman of this call for the past 3 years. I encourage all of you to get ready. I have the honor to introduce to you the one and only, who is a well-respected international leader. He's a trainer of trainers, coaches of coaches, and leader of leaders. Much respected and sought out throughout the entire world. He knows how to make money. And money is not the most important thing, but it is important. And he's going to teach you the wisdom how to make it, how to keep it, and how to share it. This gentleman is a philanthropist. He's a coach. He's world sought after, and in his first month in his previous company, he did $10 million in sales, approximately $169,000 in commissions, and helped over 250 people earn between $1,000 to $100,000 in their very first month. I tell you something, has extraordinary results. We're excited because not only is he good at making money, but he loves and genuinely cares about fellow mankind. And today and every Sunday and every day of his life, he's helping share wisdom. And on today's call, you're in for a treat. This man is known as a California kid. He's also a new author, a marketplace minister, and a man of God. I have the pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Are you there?
Absolutely, I am here. Thank you so much, Momo. We appreciate you for stepping up and being the host on today's call again. Guys, I'm really excited for a new series that starts today. If this is your very first time joining this platform, just to give you some heads up, we've been doing this now for right at 3 years. We do it every single Sunday. We do it on the same exact phone number at the exact same time. Okay, so this might be your first call. You might have heard about it from a friend. It's absolutely free. We don't charge you anything. And the objective of the call is twofold. Number one, we teach you the specific skills that you need to get yourself to the very top of your specific direct sales network marketing company. But number two is even better than number one. We teach you life skills as well. You know, what I found out through, from a little bird is that we've had hundreds and thousands of people that are on the calls that are not even involved in direct sales or network marketing, but they've heard the value from a friend or an associate and decided to plug into this call, and we welcome you as well. As always, the calls are always recorded, instantly uploaded, and you can download them at your leisure, and I welcome you to re-listen to them again and again and again. One of my favorite parts about this platform is we don't discuss company names or company products. That's not the objective of this call at all. I like to look at it as, on this call, it's all about more of thee and less of me, right? More of thee and less of me. And that's the intended purpose. So it's a free call every single week. If you're an entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, involved in direct sales or not, I highly recommend you to jump on this call absolutely free to find alliances. You know, you're aligned with someone who's going the same direction as you are going. And I can just tell you, to be honest, there's been many weeks and months that I've contemplated canceling this call. And if it had not been for you, if it had not been for someone like you sending in emails, requests, and social media contacts telling me, please don't cancel this call. It's this call that gives me that extra to keep going, that gives me that extra pep in my step. And so for that, I'm eternally grateful that I'm able to actually create a platform, share some nuggets of wisdom that many people find tremendous value of it, free of charge. Now, some people say, man, why do you do this call absolutely free every week? Why don't you think to charge or do anything like that? You know, the thought has crossed my mind, but you know what? Let me tell you why. And I want you, if this is your first time, write this down. I believe in the face of our current economic situation that we all are faced with. We know it, the coronavirus. We've never seen anything like this before. I believe that what I'm about to share with you is your way out. I really believe what I'm about to say right now. If this is your first time, I want you to write this down. If you've heard of this call before and you've listened to us week in and week out, I still want you to write this down. People come to this call looking for answers, looking for solutions. And let me share something with you. Most of us don't realize that the solutions to all of our life's challenges, all of our life's situations are oftentimes very simple. They're never complicated. But sometimes through our brain and overthinking and being very analytic, we tend to complicate things that were never intended to be complicated. So why don't we charge? Here's the answer. We believe gifts are meant to share, not to keep. So the wisdom that I find myself attracted to, the wisdom that I've experienced and that I continue to long for, why charge you? Give it away for free. Gifts are meant to share, not to keep. And I feel that what's been given to me and what continues to be given to me is a gift. And all we want to do is share it with you absolutely free. Now, people sometimes find that very strange. What? You're giving us away for 3 years for free? Are you building some type of list? Are you keeping log of all the people jumping on? No. We don't know your name. We don't know what company you're with. We don't know what product you sell, and nor do we care. Okay? We have no idea if it's talking to one person today or am I talking to 1 million people today. And I don't care about that. Why? Because, write this down, here comes another one. Here comes another one. The reason why we don't care about the numbers, because you can count the apples, you can count the seeds that are in one apple. In other words, you can physically crack open an apple and you can physically count the seeds that are inside of that apple. But let me tell you what you can't count. You cannot count the apples that are inside of one seed. And this is why we don't get concerned about how many people are listening today. I don't care because I know that what we're saying, it will fall on the right person at the right time in the right way, and boom, magic happens. So this is why we're not concerned about what company you're with. We're not concerned if it's 1 billion people on here today or if it's just one person. Now, if you like the vibe of what I just said thus far, and you're like, wow, I'm really feeling what they're doing on this call, we are giving specific skills that you need to get to the top. We never discuss the bottom, okay? And we're also teaching you life skills at the same time. So if you want to join our mission, let me show you how you can do that. Really simple. All we want you to do is share this platform with other people. Okay? Share this platform with other people. And here's why. We believe what we make happen for others, God will gladly make happen for you. Let me say it again. What we make happen for others, God will gladly make happen for you. And today, or the time that we're currently in today with the coronavirus, once again, most of us were looking in the mirror. Oh, my God, do I got the virus? Do I got the virus? Hello, hello, hello. I just sneezed. Do I got the virus? Do I got the virus? Look, I'm not trying to make light of the virus. I'm not trying to make light of it. We understand what's going on. But instead of looking in the mirror, because when you look in the mirror, all you see is you, I want to encourage and I want to challenge you today, seriously, to start looking out the window. Look out the window. There are other people out there. How can you make a difference? You know, I was scrolling through Facebook, with my right thumb, the thumb I always use to scroll. And, man, I saw something I'd never seen before. I mean, some of you might have seen it today. Don't worry, we're going to get to the message. Sit tight, okay? But I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw I think it was in Georgia, I believe. It was a parking lot full of cars with people standing outside their cars. Everybody had their hazard lights on, and literally they were blowing the horn, and all the cars were in the parking lot of a medical center. And I was just sitting there. They were all had their hands up, and they were just giving praise towards the medical center. In other words, as a thank you for here's this facility, here's these people on the front line risking their life for other people. Come on, man. I know I'm talking good today. I know I'm talking good today. So I'm telling you, guys, let's stop looking in the mirror and begin to look out the window. What can we do? I mean, I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm seeing other leader friends of mine that are having a Zoom. Zoom is going through the roof, I can tell you that right now. Where they're having webinars, and they're either hosting church services, they're hosting platforms where they're, being beacons of light and sharing how to best deal with this. And I'm just, I got to tell you, listen to me. I want you to write this down. I'm dead serious. I want you to write this down, every single one of them. I don't care who you are. Write it down. Grab some lipstick, grab a pen, grab a crayon, grab something. Write this down. You ready? Okay. Everything in this entire world, everything that you can physically see, your TV, your remote, your carpet, your fireplace, your door handles, your car, your clothes, your heater, your lights, everything that you can physically see, your chairs, your toilet paper, everything that you can physically see was created by an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs rule the world. They create stuff. And anytime you're creating something, anytime you're creating something, you need favor. You need favor. Anytime you're creating anything of value, you need favor. And we're going to really begin to talk about favor, which is, I'm so excited. I just can't wait to get to it. Today is the beginning of our new series called Favor. But we're going to get to that in a second. But I want you to understand that it's times like this when I believe the best part of us begins to step up. And I want to challenge each and every single one of you, no matter who you are, where you are, and what you are, do the best you can. Do the best you can. Do the best that you can. I'm serious. Look, I'm not here to judge you nor condemn you, but do something. Even if it's just say thank you, man. I really appreciate your service, for what you guys are doing for us. Do something. I want you to think of a symphony. Every single instrument matters, baby. Every single instrument matters. Every little piece counts. It's like a puzzle. Every little piece counts. Before we get to our message today, I have to just go ahead and give a special salute to something I'm so glad. I'm not the best of writers. I can speak pretty well about what I feel, but writing, you got me challenged if you ask me to start writing. But I got to tell you, the best of the best of the best that I have seen thus far to really, really basically take the words out of my mouth of what I was feeling, none other than one of the wealthiest people in our world, Mr. Bill Gates. I want to encourage everyone, read it. I'm hearing that it's posted everywhere. If you don't know where it is, send me a text message, social media. I'll send it to you. You've got to read this memo that Bill Gates actually addressed to the entire world about his perspective about the coronavirus. I'm talking about lights out fire. It's fire. It exactly expresses exactly how I feel, which again tees me right on up. It tees me right on up for today's call. Okay? So I'm just telling you guys, do the best that you can do. I love when I scroll through Facebook and I see everybody trying to make a contribution in some way or another. Do something. Do something. It's not enough to say you're a leader, to say you're an entrepreneur, and in the worst of times, we can't find you. Where is your light when I really need it, baby? Where is your light and encouragement when I really need it? Stop looking in the mirror at your finances, at your situation, and your family, and start looking out the window. Other people need what you got. This is not the time for you to roll over, have a pity party, woe is me, oh my God, oh my. Do something, and this is what I'm about to talk about today. And so here we go, transitioning into today's call. I had to stand on my soapbox just a little bit. You could tell I had to purge some stuff. But anyway, guys, I'm really excited about this new series that we are beginning today. This series entitled Favor. And I'm really, really fired up about this. Now, I want to tee this up. Boy, I'm going to tee this up really good today. All right. I understand that there are thousands and thousands of people that listen to the replay. In fact, there's more people that listen to the replay of our calls in actuality than actual people physically listen to live. We know this. And of those listeners that are listening to this call, I also know that not all of you believe in God. Not all of you have a relationship at this time with God. I understand that. I know some of you get really excited every time he talks about God, while others of you are like, man, can he just give me the skills I need to get to the top rank in my company? Miss me with all the God talk. Well, thank God that I don't go to you for approval upon what I'm going to teach on week to week, right? So I'm really not interested in whether you like me talking about God or not. I'm going to do what's right, okay? Now, with that being said, let me just tell you, one thing I don't like is I don't like people that talk so much about God and so much about Scripture. It's like there's an old saying, you're so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, right? Because when we look at the life of Jesus, Jesus has never stepped inside of a church ever. He's never been inside of a church. So he never talked about this faith and that faith and all these different religions. He never discussed any of that. There's nowhere we find where he did all that. Instead, he was an example to all people. And I wish more of us would really, really, really focus on helping people on how to have a relationship or a better relationship, right, with God. That's what I really wish. I wish most people would stop pointing the finger. Well, you know what? You smoke cigarettes. Well, you know what, man? You shouldn't be doing this. Well, wait a minute. The Bible clearly tells us we all, that includes you, baby. Yes, you, boo-boo. We all were lost. Every single one. What do you mean? Yes, you. I'm talking to you. You were lost too. So stop it with the finger pointing. But today the reason why I'm so fired up about this topic of favor, because I want to talk to you about what I call the extra power. I'm talking about the extra power. I'm talking about some people might call it the slight edge. I'm talking about this extra, write this down, the extra power. I'm really going to really break this down. I'm not a preacher. I don't profess to be one. I'm not here trying to be that. I really want to get this message across about favor. I think a lot of people don't understand what favor is. And so this is going to be the first call of several calls in a new series entitled Favor. Now, before I dive into this topic, I want to go ahead and give you, recommend a book that all of you need to begin to read. And I mean, you need to start doing this today, okay? Matter of fact, put this on your list. The name of the book is called The Power of Favor. It's by Joel Osteen. I want to encourage you to go to Amazon today. If you like me and you don't like to read, you like to listen, get the audio book. Whatever. Do what you do. Get it now. Okay? Joel Osteen, and the title of the book is The Power of Favor. Oh, it's absolutely awesome. And so I want to let you know that some of the things, most of the things I'm going to be talking from on these next few weeks here are actually coming right out of that book. My goal here today on the call is to keep things very simple and give you a greater understanding of what in the world is favor. Number one, what is it? Number two, how do I get more of it? Right? And that's going to be my main two topics here today. But I'm doing this deliberately. I want to really, now here's my favorite part about favor. I want to begin by talking about the word rain. And I'm going to keep this call very elementary. So I'm doing this intentional to keep things elementary so that all walks of life can understand what I'm saying. Okay? When I talk about rain, most of you are thinking about physical rain. According to Scripture, when rain begins to happen, according to what God is talking about, he's talking about blessings. He's talking about I want you to imagine just rain, prayers go up and blessings come down. In other words, he's just raining on you. So as you think about physical rain, I want you to think about, just imagine God's raining on you. Your finances are blessed. Your marriage is blessed. Your kids are blessed. It's raining everywhere all around you, okay? So when you hear me throughout the next few weeks mention the word rain, I'm not talking about is it wintertime and we can see sprinkles coming outside. No, I'm talking about rain in context of blessings. God raining on you. Write that down so you have some context as we go forward in this call, okay? Now, I want to start with talking about rain first because one of the beautiful things about rain, according to Scripture, and this is for all you non-believers. My goal is not to keep you as a non-believer. My goal is that you will decide to want to become a believer and establish a relationship with God. I can tell you there's so many millions of reasons why you want to do that. But I want to start here because some of the believers think that God will only reign on the just. What does that mean? It means, well, if I live right and do everything right and, I'm straight as an arrow and I do everything, blah, 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 God will bless me. I'm not saying he won't. But I really want, first of all, I want to talk to the believers that listen to this call and let you know, according to Scripture, it says God will reign on the just and the unjust. Now, what am I trying to say here? Am I trying to say that I deliberately am pointing this out, deliberately, intentionally, because I don't like when people start talking, looking down their nose. I can't stand any man or woman that begins to have a conversation they have a conversation and it almost feels like you're being judged. Well, I don't do that, but you do that. That is never the spirit of Christ. Never. Christ never came to condemn any of us. Why? Because he knew ever since they bit the apple, we all was lost. We all were born into sin. This is fact, okay? So I want to really point out that according to Scripture, once again, it says God will reign on the just and the unjust. That means God's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. You don't have any right to determine who God gets to bless and when and how much. That's none of your business. Let me say that again so there's no misunderstanding. It's none of your business on who God decides to bless, when, and how much. That has nothing to do with you. So stop measuring your life against other people is the first thing we have to talk about in talking about favor. Because I want to make sure the playing field is level as we begin to dive into this topic. Because oftentimes when people teach on favor, I have watched hundreds of people walk away from a favor message that they heard, and they begin to think, oh, okay, well, that's probably why I haven't gotten blessed, because I'm not living like her, and I'm still smoking my cigarettes, or I'm drinking my booze, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing – see, now what happens is the message was supposed to be intended for good, but all of a sudden someone left the message thinking, okay, I'm feeling condemned. Now I know why God is not blessing me, because I'm in a predicament and I got this going on, and that's why I'm not getting blessed. So this is why I want to eradicate and kill that spirit at the very beginning of this call. There is no condemnation on this call. Again, God will reign on the just and the unjust. Number one. Now, as we begin to dive into what is favor, let's take this apart so that you can understand, okay? Favor, I like to call it, and I like to break things down and keep it simple, it's that extra power. It's that extra. Write that word down. It's the extra. Let me give you an example. Have you ever, for example, and I'm gonna rant here for about 5 minutes about what favor is, and I'm just gonna. Yes, there's a Webster dictionary and all that stuff and blah blah blah. But let me give it to you in real terms and real. Let me serve it on a platter to you, so you can really begin to. Oh, okay. Oh, so that's favor. I intentionally want to paint a picture for you so that you have a greater understanding of what it is. Okay. So imagine there you are. You are you're a high school, you're a senior in high school, and you're trying to get into this college, and all of a sudden you receive a letter in the mail that the college says that they're going to go ahead and give you a full ride scholarship. because you got good grades in school. Now, and they're going to give you an academic scholarship. Now, I want you to understand, you're not the only person in the world that got good grades in school. You're not the only student that their parents say, hey, I want you to do well in school, right? You're not the only one. But the fact, for some reason, you were awarded an academic scholarship to XYZ College. That's an example of favor, okay? Let me give you an example. Let's go a little bit further. There you are. You're on your job. You're the least qualified person. Least qualified, but you got the promotion. There's another example of favor, okay? There you are. All of a sudden, give you another example. There you are. You're in a line of people, and they're looking for one more person for XYZ reason, and your name is selected. That's another example of favor. Give you another example. You walk into a store, any type of department store, and they give you a little extra for free. Why did they choose you? That's another example of favor. Now, some of you are saying, oh, that's what favor is? But hold on. Sit tight, relax. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this conversation. Don't you think we're in a slow-moving car. It may look like I'm going slow, but trust me, we're traveling at warp speed. So just hang on. So I want to first of all get you to understand that random things that happen to you that we love to call random. That was random. That was so random. That's the word. That's the word that circulates around the world today. We like to call it, oh, that was random. It's really not random. It's what we call favor. But when you don't understand biblical principles, you resort to natural words to give yourself an understanding of what just happened. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm illustrating or pointing this out first, because I want to show you how those things that you may say, quote unquote, happen randomly. My goal after teaching this series is to show you how to be on purpose, so the things that you thought were happening accidentally, according to Scripture, if you begin to follow X, Y, and Z that I'm going to be teaching you, will begin to happen intentionally. So you will now go from, once upon a time that happened, to where, man, this happens all the time for me. I walk in favor. This happens all the time. And this is my goal on the call. This is my whole goal with this series. And that's why I highly encourage you, get your family members, friends, everybody you know on these calls. I highly encourage you, because I want to bring forth a clear understanding. And if you know anything about Romacio, I'm always going to give you action steps. I'll never leave you high and dry. I will always tell you, this is what you do. Step 2, that's my teaching. That's how I do it. I'll always keep it very simple, and there will be practical action steps that you can do to increase this thing for yourself. That's why I'm so fired up to teach it. Okay? So far, I want you to understand the few examples that I gave you, and I could have given you 1,000 more that you think are random. When you don't understand biblical principles and how this favor thing works, you begin to think it's just random. Okay? Let me give you a personal example. When I look over my life, for example, and again, this is not me trying to stand on a soapbox and shine in front of you. No, I'm just giving you a personal story. I know that there's a tremendous amount of favor on my life. It has very little to do with me. Now, I do have a part to play in it, but let me give you an example. And again, I know I'm kind of speeding things up here, but we're going to get to. I'm jumping all around here. One of the ways that you can begin to increase the amount of favor that comes your way is something called declaring it, and that just simply means speaking it into existence. That's all it means. You declare favor over your finances. I declared God's favor over this call before I started today. All I said is, Lord, give me favor on this call today, okay? When I walk into meetings to deal with other people, God, give me favor. When I begin to do Zoom presentations, God, give me favor. Give me favor over my children. Give me favor over my finances. Give me favor everywhere, right? Well, as it relates to my life, my parents specifically my mom and my grandparents, when I look at my life and how my life has been spared and blessed, it's a huge, I attribute a huge amount to my parents, a huge amount. Now, it's not just because, oh, I like my mom and my dad. No, that's not it. It's because they literally, what's happening to me today and the things that have happened in my life are because they declared it. They spoke it over and over and over. My mom must have spoken a million times. She's still speaking it. See, I want you to write this down. It has been said that 1 ounce of God's favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor. Now, boy, you better write that down. Hold on. You better turn off the stove, turn them eggs off, get yourself a pen and write that down. You don't hear that every day. One more time. 1 ounce of God's favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor. And I'm going to really add some color to that in just a few moments for you. But write that down. That's very, 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 very profound. This is how big the favor of God is. Okay? And so my mom, she spoke this over and over and over and, I mean, millions and millions of times. Not only did she speak it, she to the best of her ability. Okay, let's go into this next topic. Let's go into how do you get, now that you have an idea of what favor is, how do you get more of it? How do you get more of it, okay? There's 2 ways to get more of God's favor. Number 1 is you want to follow God's will, and you want to be obedient. Now, I'm not going to teach a course today on obedience and God's will, but it is in the Bible, okay? And we will get to that part later in our series. But the way to receive more favor, is, in simple terms, for God to trust you. See, God loves all of us. He does. But remember, you have to understand, you want more favor, more. You want that extra. Remember, you want that extra, right? That's what you want. So to get that extra, God has got to know that he can trust you. And you say, well, wait a minute, that sounds pretty big. How would I know if God can trust me? Okay? So when we talk about following God's will, there's none of us that are perfect. I make mistakes all the time. Now, I don't want you to hear that the wrong way. I don't want you leaving the call going, oh, Romacio just delights to make it. Romacio he delights to get it wrong. He loves to make mistakes. That's not what I'm saying. But you're going to miss the mark. Yes, you. I know you think you missed little perfect, but you're going to miss the mark, okay? Some mistakes you're going to make, you didn't even know that there was a mistake. And other mistakes you're going to make, those where you did know that you wasn't supposed to do it, but you did it anyway, okay? But God still loves us. That's called grace and mercy. David talks about that in the Bible. Grace and mercy, right? So, anyway, how do you get more favor? The way you get more favor, the truth be told, I'm always going to give you the truth, is to follow God's will and to be obedient, okay? I want to give you an example of an imperfect man that strived to be obedient. And boy, oh boy, was he blessed with an enormous amount of favor. And he comes from the Bible, and his name is Noah. Listen carefully to me, boys and girls, men and women. Noah knew absolutely nothing about how to build an ark. He was not a builder. Did you hear me? Noah knew nothing about how to build an ark. And back then, Noah and his people didn't know anything about something called rain. And in this context, I'm talking about physical rain that comes from the sky. They had never seen rain back then. So he had no idea that rain is coming. But instead, Noah chose to be obedient to what God asked him to do. Now, what does this mean? Does God get on a microphone and say, hey, hello world, I want to tell you that I have singled out Noah to build an ark? That is not how God works. In fact, God never yells. He only whispers. And so he whispers it to you. And so he told Noah what he wanted him to do. And Noah chose to trust and be obedient to God and did it. Because God at that point was very disappointed with mankind, and God was getting ready to send a flood through the entire land and wash everything away because he was so disgusted with the negativity and the sin and the way and the wicked ways of flesh, of mankind. He was disgusted. God had never intended, when he created us, he never intended for what was happening. But listen, because of Noah's faithfulness and Noah's obedience to do something he never knew how to do before. And I want to emphasize Noah was imperfect. There's only one person that was perfect, and we know who that is. Noah was imperfect. Listen to me. You got to get this part. Because when I say the word obedience, some of you think, oh, my God, I got to be perfect my whole life. There's no such person. There's only one person that can be perfect. I'm talking about your heart. Having a heart, I messed up. I didn't mess up again. I want to get it right. I want to get it right. Having a heart to try and be obedient. Let me put it this way. None of us will ever be able to fully fulfill 1 billion % perfection and obedience. We all will make mistakes. In other words, slip off the horse, get back on, slip off the horse, get back on. Maybe this area of life you got it perfect. Okay, you're just perfect. But this area over here, you're kind of still off a little bit. There'll always be something that we're trying to get better at. That's why it's a journey, okay? So Noah was imperfect. It's important that you understand this. He was imperfect, but he decided to be obedient. And because of his obedience, not only did he build the ark, but Noah and his entire family, their lives were spared. God sent a flood. Everything and everyone else got washed away. In other words, everything and everyone died, except Noah and his family and the people that were allowed to be on that ark. God showed Noah an enormous amount of favor. Okay? If you want to go to the Word and research it for yourself, I encourage you to do that. Okay? I just want to point out to you, how do you get more favor? The way you get one of the ways you get more favor is through obedience and following God's Word. Okay? All right? Now, in the interest of time, I want to talk to you about the second way of how do you actually get more favor. Okay? Go back to earlier in our call when we talked about things being random. Well, now I want to show you how things can begin to be intentional. Do you want to live a life where things are just random, just randomly happen? Or do you want to live a life where things are intentionally, purposefully happening for you? Well, I hope you said, hey, man, I want to be on purpose. I want it to be intentional. Well, the way for that to happen is called declaring favor. All that simply means, you don't have to be no wordsmith. All that means is you are speaking out loud and you're speaking under your breath where you're declaring God's favor. God, I declare your favor on my job. I declare your favor in my car. I declare your favor when I walk into the store to go buy some groceries. I declare your favor when I go to church. I declare your favor when I go to my yoga class. I declare your favor over my finances. I declare your favor over my relationship. I declare your favor. I've been single for a long time, that you're going to send me Mrs. Right or Mr. Right. I declare your favor in my finances. I declare your favor as I walk around the earth right now with people that have the virus and that don't know that they have it. It's where you are always constantly declaring God's favor. See, when you get to talking about God and his favor and singing his praises, he will literally make you, he'll make you shine. I mean, he'll let me just tell you something. He'll throw, remember what I said, 1 ounce of God's favor is worth a lifetime of labor. 1 ounce is worth a lifetime of labor. Now, again, I know that you guys are here listening to me, and some of you are thinking, oh, this is a wonderful story. Well, remember what I always told you. If this is your first time listening to me, I will never teach you stuff that I read out of book that I just read out of a book if it hasn't happened to me. I don't believe in that. I'm sorry, I don't. So if I'm giving you these stories of Noah and this story of this, and that story and this story, you better believe I'm getting ready to give you a story of my own life, because I can tell you it has happened to me and it continues to happen. Okay? And so, again, let me take you back. December of 2016. Many of you know the story. Some of you heard the story. November of 2016, I was broke. I had made millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I was horrible with saving and investing money. I was bad. It was nobody's fault but mine, right? I was good at making money, but I was horrible. Put a capital H at saving it, right? And at the time, I was thinking I was 38 or 39, okay? And I always believe that if something is broke, you should fix it. And listen, boys and girls, men and women, carefully. I never forget this. I literally prayed to God, and I said, if you will help me find the next opportunity, I promise to give that opportunity everything I've got and do everything in my power that I can. Now, before I found the opportunity, so I joined the opportunity in December of 2016. I want to talk to you what I was doing before December of 2016. For about 5 to 6 months before, I had decided to get closer to God, going to church, going to Bible. I was just trying. Look, I'm not here to condemn you. I don't want you hearing, oh, my God, I'm not going to church. That's why I'm not. No, that's not true. I already told you earlier. Jesus ain't never been in a church building, okay? So I don't want you thinking if you don't go to church and you don't, I'm not here to condemn all that. I don't believe in all that. I don't. I just decided to get closer to God, and the only way you can get close to somebody, you got to spend time with them. So I began to basically look in the Bible, and by the way, I had to get me a simple Bible. I can't all the thee, yea, thou, man, y'all confusing me. That's too much. Okay, thank God for having simple Bibles that talk to you just like how I'm talking to you. That's what I needed, right? Something simple. And that's what I found, okay? And so I began to dive in there, and it told me, it's like if you want to get closer to someone, you have to learn, like what do they consider close? Like some people, you haven't talked to them in 10 years, and they feel like y'all close. Well, God doesn't work that way. You ain't talked to me in 10 years, and you think we close? So I'm like, okay, God, well, break it down to me, man. How do you work, man? What's your rules? How you get down, man? Talk to me, right? This is how I talk to God. This is how I talk to God. Explain to me how the rules, how does it go around here? Okay, and as I begin to read, and by the way, the Bible always says, if any man or woman lacks wisdom, you just got to ask. And so I was just like, God, help me understand, like, how we do this thing. And he told me, okay, all right. So I started to spend more time with him. I started to be a little bit more deliberate in praying, right? I started to be a little bit more deliberate reading my Bible, right? Going to Bible study, going to church, okay? I started really, really stepping up my praise, praising God for everything, the good, the bad, the things I understood, the things I didn't understand. I just began to give God glory and praise. Here's what I want you to understand. When God smells honor, when he smells that you are honoring him in every season of your life, what does that mean? That means the good times, the bad times, and the in-between times. When he smells honor, that is another way for you increasing the favor in your life. Okay, so long story short, before December of 2016, for long story short, I was trying to get my life right. I was just trying to get better. Does that make sense? Okay? And so literally, by the time that opportunity fell into my lap, I need you to listen to me. I want you to hear this. I had no team of people. I had no pre-existing team to transfer into my new company. I started by myself. Are you listening? There was nobody. Because I had taken literally almost 10 months to try and find the right thing, and I just wasn't going to go jump into anything. I was taking my time. And while living off my savings, literally month after month, ended up going broke. But I knew and I did believe that God was going to send, he was going to help me find that right thing for me at that time. And listen, this is the point. I wanted to be ready. If there's anything I can tell you on today's call, you want to be ready for God's favor to hit you. So what can you do to put yourself in position to be ready? Once again, we talked about that. Following God's will, being obedient, declaring favor by using your words, right? These are the things that you can begin to do over, and you can't just do it. Hey, man, hey, Romacio, I tried that for 2 weeks, man. I tried that thing you was talking about, bro, on that favor call, and nothing happened. It doesn't work like that. You have to do it over and over and over. You got to do this every day. You can't just, no. Now, I promise you, if you do it, it works. I can guarantee you that. You want a guarantee? If you do it, it works. No. I know firsthand, brother. Okay, let me finish my story. So here I am, December 1st, 2016. You guys all know I joined a company called World Global Network by myself. Okay, some friends of mine that recruited me into that company. I got started. I made $103,000 my first month. I had no pre-existing team. Hello? I had no team. Let me explain something to you. 1 ounce of God's favor is worth a lifetime of what? Labor. Okay, so I continued to go forward in that company, and I made $100,000, $103,000 the first month with no network marketers. I didn't have any major leaders or any leaders or network marketing leaders that had all this experience with all these teams. I didn't have any of that. I built it with regular, ordinary people. $103,000 the first month. 6 months later, I had 21,000 people on my team, and I had made over $1 million. 6 months. Wait a minute. 6 months ago, I was broke. And we keep going and going and going. In the first year, I made $2.3 million. 13 months, $100 million in sales, and over 100,000 people on my team. Once again, 1 ounce of God's favor is worth a lifetime of labor. And if God will do it for me, I know he will do it for you. And if he'll do it once, he'll do it again and again and again and again. And trust me, guys, I've got at least 20 different stories I can share with you. I love how somebody said, I can't doubt him because I know too much about him. And my goal on the call is not to gloat in front of you. That is not the goal. The goal is I want to take you from the word of random to the word of intentional. And I want to show you how you get there. And I want to show all of you. And I'm doing the very best that I can to make sure the playing field in your mind is level. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with how much church you've been going to or not. That's not it. I don't want you leaving this call thinking, okay, I got to do more. That's not the whole goal. The first thing you need to do is to be. And when we say be, is to accept that God literally has something special for you. Remember Noah was imperfect? Remember Romacio dang sure is imperfect, right? He's got something special for you, and you are going to need his favor in your future. You're going to need his favor. Because, see, the statistics don't make sense. The medical report said you were toe up from the flow up. That, you don't have any money in the account. The cupboard is bare. You don't know. You're not connected, and you don't have those resources. Those are all facts. But let me tell you, young man, there's a difference between facts and truth. The truth is that you are more than enough. The truth is that God's favor upon your life is worth more than a lifetime of labor. That's the truth. The facts may be you down, busted, and disgusted, don't know how. Wait a minute, God gave you this dream to go build an ark. You ain't no builder. God gave you a dream to go break history. What are you talking about? God gave you a dream to go start a company, go do all this. What are you talking about? God, me, huh? Me? Yes, you. Yes, you. Always remember, if God will bring you to it, he will certainly bring you through it. And what that means is God will never give you something in your belly that he gave to you, a desire, a yearning, and he won't equip you with the necessary favor to see it through. Now, with that being said, let me make sure I get you to understand that God is not Santa Claus. I want to be real clear on my messaging today. He's not Santa Claus. You will have to go through some stuff. You say, well, if I got all this favor on my life, Romacio, how come this keeps happening to me? Let me give you a story out of the Bible first. Let's talk about my man Joseph. I love my boy Joseph. Joseph, long story short, his brothers did him dirty. His brothers did him wrong. Long story short, Joseph was thrown into jail. Now, you got to hear this one. This one's really good. He was thrown into jail for something he did not do. He did not do. But while being in jail, Joseph continued to still trust God. He still gave God praise and honor while being in jail for something he did not do. Watch this now. Now, here's when it gets real good. Woo! Joseph spent 13 years in jail. And I'm pausing on purpose. He spent 13 years in jail. Pause. Before King Pharaoh said, bring me Joseph. Bring me this man in this jail cell that you say that can interpret dreams. And the King Pharaoh, long story short, he had been having dreams, and he couldn't interpret his dreams. And Joseph's gift, watch this now, his gift was that he could interpret dreams. So the king, hello, anybody listening on this call, the king sent for a man that was in jail. Joseph came, met with King Pharaoh, helped King Pharaoh interpret his dream, and within less than an hour, all of a sudden, Joseph went from obscurity. He went from a place of obscurity to a place of notoriety, because King Pharaoh all of a sudden made Joseph basically the man, gave him a title. He was the man over everything. An hour ago, he was in jail. How does that happen? That's not random. That's called God's favor. How do you, an hour ago, you was in jail, and all of a sudden now, boom, you running everything. What I'm saying to you, I want to highlight, see, most of you heard the whole, oh my God, Joseph was in jail and now he's on top. He was at the bottom and now he's on top. See, most of you, that's the part of the story you heard. What I want to highlight for everyone is the 13 years. Woo! This is the part right here. This is the part right here you got to understand so that there will be no confusion upon this message today. For 13 years, he was in a place doing time for something he did not do. Are you listening to me? 13 years. Now, am I saying, oh my God, it's going to take you 13 years to get everything you've been dreaming for? No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying God ain't Santa Claus. Don't treat him like Santa Claus. Hey, it's Christmas time. Bless me, bless me, bless me. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. You got to sing his praises, declare his favor in the bad times as well as the good times. You can't just want to talk about how good God is and God gave you favor for this and God gave you favor for that, da-da-da-da. Only when it's good, you can't do that. So you got to declare God's favor upon your life even when you don't understand which way your life is going. Even when it's you that have messed up, made mistakes, doing things, whatever. You still got to say thank you for your favor. You could have killed me, but I'm still here. Thank you. You still got to give him praise. You still got to declare his favor. Well, Lord, I got an interview. I finally got a job. I declare your favor. I declare your favor when I walk in here. Remember, we all are God's children, and that's the cool part about God, man. He just doesn't judge us. He lives in the future. He already knew you was going to slip and fall. He already knew you was going to be hard-headed, tough to deal with. He already knew it was going to take you a little minute before you finally got. He knew more about you than you ever did. And this is the part that's just amazing. But he's saying through his word that if you will declare favor over your life, it will go from random to intentional. You will go from obscurity to notoriety. You'll go from no one knew about you to all of a sudden everybody, wow, look at her now. Look at him now. Whoa. And guess what? This is the best part. The media will come out and say, hey, Steve, hey, Johnny, hey, Samantha, can you please tell us how you did it? And the media will always try and look, they want to hear, can you tell us, how did you do such a thing? Please tell us. And the moment you begin to talk about it was the favor of God, oh, what do you mean the favor of God? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Come on, man, can you give me some meat and potatoes? How did you do it? And that's why my prayer when I got on this call today, I said, God, I declare your favor on this phone call. And I said, God, on this call today, I want there to be more of thee and less of me. Because it's you working through me to reach them. Let me explain something to you guys. I'm not that good of a network marketing professional that I can start from zero and put 100,000 people in my organization in 13 months without the favor of God upon my life. Listen to me. I know you say, well, he's my mentor. Okay, great. I'm not that good to do it that fast. Now, absolutely, there's a formula for how I did it, and of course, I had a plan and I was prepared, of course. But I needed that 1 ounce. That 1 ounce, somebody write that down. That 1 ounce of God's favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor. And as we get ready to end this call today, I am going to do my very best over the next several weeks to take you on a journey to uncover all the things that we can do to have more intentional favor from God upon every area of our lives. I am so humbled and grateful to my parents, my spiritual advisor. You know, these are people I look up to tremendously because I've watched the way that they have labored through trials and tribulations, and I've never, do you hear me? I have never, ever in 42 years of my life, I've never, ever seen their faith waver. It's never waned. Even when they were going through things that my mother specifically, and I'm like, man, what are you doing, lady? What are you doing, lady? And I'm telling you, I thank God for her having very strong, unwavering faith. And because of it, the promises that God said that she would see, honestly, she is experiencing right now. And it's an absolute, and again, I'm just giving you another testament of this is not fairy-tary, foo-foo. This is real when we talk about going from random to intentional. And I just want to encourage every one of us to begin to declare favor over every area of your life. Hey, listen, this was the very first part of this series. Trust me, it's going to get better and better and better as we drill down on how to have more favor over our lives. Listen, I'm the California Kid. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you for joining. And as always, guys, always remember in all that you do, there is absolutely nobody in the entire world any greater than you. Hey, I love you guys. I'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.